Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the original Loretta Brown Show radio to open the heart, heal the soul, awaken the consciousness. Good morning, Mr. Benny Mathers. How are you this morning?
Good morning, campers. It's something new for you every morning, right? You just don't know how to handle it.
So much. I have to bring you in, Betty, because number one, I adore you, and number two, I never know what you're going to do, and I know you're going to add exactly the right little pinch of something that I need.
Whoa, a little pinch of something. Hey, easy. It's a family show.
It's a family show. Well, what I love is that you always tap into kind of where I am energetically, and I am so in the same space. Like, yeah, let's stretch and rise and shine.
I am too. It's perfect day for representing love and our Mother Earth and our guest today, and I'm looking very, very forward to it.
I am too. Yeah. And once again, you are spot on with not only the astrology of today. Woohoo! I know the energies, but yeah, our guest, I can't wait to bring her on. So yeah, thanks for stretching us in. And yeah,
don't forget to stretch. Do your morning exercises, people. All right, here we go. Little toe touches there. Toe touches, little hip bends.
Little hip bends, that's right.
All right.
Wall yoga. Okay. Yeah. Wall growth. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Perfect.
Yeah. And where's my coffee? I don't know.
You don't need it with me.
I don't.
Nope.
You're right.
Boom.
Absolutely don't.
Okay.
That's right. We were talking about the show about the zebras. I miss the zebras.
Everyone is safe. Everyone is now safe and contained. They're back at home. There's no running wild zebra on the loose anymore, unfortunately.
Do you think in the years to come, the zebras that got loose will tell their tale around the campfire?
Oh my God. I remember back in 2024, I got loose.
I ran wild
in the state of Washington.
Outside of North Bend and Issaquah.
Yeah, Frank, we've heard this one before. Right? No, just let him tell the story. He's fine.
I love it. Anyway,
I'll let you go.
Yes, I feel chatty this morning.
Right.
It's a placement of Venus, is what it is. I blame it on Venus and the moon. I'll talk about it in a minute. But anyway, I am Loretta Brown. I am the owner of Reiki Oasis, located right here in the greater Seattle area for the last 30 years. And you can find out more about me at reikioasis.com. And you can schedule everything over there. Also, be aware of the fact I am scheduled out a bit. So be patient with the scheduler. If you need scheduling, please let me know. And welcome to June. June is busting out all over. We're a few days into it already. And it's going to be bursting with Gemini energy, lifting our spirits, igniting our intellect, and inspiring poetic expression. Often misunderstood as two-faced or the evil twins, Gemini symbolizes the dance between the material and the spiritual worlds, between our higher consciousness and our ego, represented by the mortal and the immortal twins. And this month, we're reminded to balance our spiritual aspirations with our material needs. So embrace moments of magic and synchronicity while attending to life's practical demands. And as Gemini season unfolds, and we're in it, right? Honor both aspects of your being and find harmony in this dynamic dance. So be sure to spend time in nature. Be sure to take time with your body, clear the mind, and then also spiritual pursuits is always a good thing, right? June, let's take a look at what happened this week. June 2nd, Jupiter trine to Pluto, and Jupiter moved into Gemini, forming a harmonious trine with Pluto in Aquarius. This brings a fusion of expansive optimism and transformative energy. And it's a time to appreciate personal growth and rebirth with positive omens for success, wealth, and fame. On June 3rd, Mercury went into Gemini and joined the sun there, creating what's called a stellium. The powerful concentration of Gemini energy enhances communication and helps balance our spiritual and physical needs. On June 4th, the day before yesterday, the Sun conjunct Venus in Gemini, a lot of Gemini here, boosting creative, romantic, and harmonious energies. It's a really great time to look at your relationships. This week, we also have the parade of planets. I'm rattling this off quick because there's so much. We have Saturn, Neptune, Mars, Uranus, Mercury, and Jupiter all gracing the eastern sky, all lined up like a parade and lining up with the moon. Even though this parade of planets does happen, right? It's not incredibly rare. It does happen. This feels a little bit different this week. We have almost as though it's asking us to line ourselves up, and it's an ascension. It's over the eastern sky. So rising uh, rising up, choosing a path that will be more of a straight line, starting to not so chaotic, everybody's lining up, like get your ducks in a row, right? The energies are kind of helping us get in that space. And then today, June 6th, we got two big things. We've got the 6-6 portal, an activation portal for 5D and above, enabling timeline shifts, timeline jumps, quantum leaps, and synchronicities being the incoming energies and the alignments of the trinity of body, mind, and spirit. We have swift clearing, clarity, closures, and downloads are available by the divine and deep peace. We are in a time where we're being asked to sort of take a look at what is the path that we're on, what is the trajectory. And today, my guest was very timely. There's another event happening today before I bring her on that can help you possibly make that timeline or that quantum jump and really take a look at what is the world that you want to live in. So today we also have the Gemini new moon, which is all about love, Mr. Benny Mathers.
Hey,
if you have been, I know. So if you have been looking for guidance on a particular relationship or wondering if you should stay or go, the new moon can bring a fresh perspective and the answers you need to forge your way ahead. The new moon can guide you to new ideas about love and may inspire you to open your mind, think with a new level of clarity and understanding about love. Use the new moon to celebrate the love that is in your life. And if you're looking for love, it's a great day to set some intention around the partner that you would like to draw in. And then I'm just going to say this. Sometimes people say, or we think we want something, but our actions will tell a different story. If we're not willing to even set an intention or conceive of it, how much do we really want it? And so when we get these things on the same page, it can be very, very, very powerful manifesting time. This new moon is also the window of opportunity for financial blessings, windfalls, abundance, miracles, good luck, dreams realized, success in career, business, unconditional love, and family good fortune. What a wonderful energy. It's just like fresh and clean and new. And yeah, maybe stretching like what we did, Benny. That's the best way to jump into this energy. The 6-6 portal and the new moon in Gemini is the perfect platform for my guest today. So my guest today is Hope Ives Mauran. She's a spiritual author, artist, and healer who has dedicated her life to empowering individuals to realize their fullest potential. Her journey from skepticism to deep spiritual understanding has led her to write 5 transformative books, including her latest book, Love's New Earth, Awakening to Our Collective True Nature as Love, which encourages readers to redefine their reality and harness their power as creators. Hope's work integrates teachings from various spiritual traditions, offering practical guidance for these pivotal times that we find ourselves in. An advocate for sustainable living, Hope grows her own food and promotes sufficiency, and her journey is marked by a commitment to spreading messages of love under the Gemini new moon and the 6/6 portal, interconnectedness, and higher consciousness. Hope, welcome to the show.
Wow. What an auspicious day to be on your show.
I know. I'm like, give it to us, Hope. Come on. Quantum jump us. Come on, girl.
Well, you said two things. The Gemini, we have two Earths that have formed and are forming. And our choice point for humanity right now is which Earth do we want to be on? And here it is, right on a platter on 6/6/24. Perfect.
I have realized through the years that I don't make this stuff up, right? That people show up exactly on the right energy plane, like here you are. And yeah, I'm excited about it. So the two Earths, wow.
Yeah,
I think this is a really great place. We'll just jump into the deep end, right?
sure.
So your book is called Love's New Earth. Yeah. Love's New Earth. So talk about these two Earths. Talk about the title of your book. Just jump in.
Yeah, well, Love's New Earth is the Earth that we've always wanted to live on, an Earth of cooperation and compassion and kindness and love and community. And it's a world of high frequency where we are self responsible, where victimhood is long gone, where we are realizing the power of our creative capacity, our focus, our specific focuses make a huge difference in what pans out in front of us. And the old earth is very much in our face. All we have to do is look at the news and see all the negativity and the density and the war and the difficulty that is occurring. And there's so much fear and so much challenge and suffering that is going on this old earth that our opportunity right now, and I call it humanity's greatest opportunity, is to make a very clear choice. And one of the things the book offers is it lays out the whole panorama of the old earth and the situation and the density and the lower frequency and the fear and the victimhood and the new earth and the opportunity of creating something that is of higher frequency, love-based, and the kind of world we want to leave to our children. Um, this choice point is being sort of thrust upon us. And what we have to do right now is make a clear choice. And one way to do that is to understand what the choices are. And that's one of the things that the book lays out pretty clearly, I think. And
I have so many things that I want. Like I actually have 42 questions.
great. How many hours you had?
Yeah, we just do what we can. We're being guided by a higher force here, but by the force of love, right?
Yeah.
But this idea, I really think your book is so important. I'm just going to pull out a couple of things there. Like you said, so many people watch the news, and the minute that we watch the news, we're sucked into this. We're either looking at it because everybody's got their face in a screen, which pulls us in, or we're listening to it. And I'm an energy worker and a channel and all kinds of things like that, to where I'm like, so I want to pull this point out, that what we focus on, we're participating in, we're being pulled in, we're helping to grow it, we're doing something. Talk a little more about that, because this old earth to me is, we need to leave that behind. We need to go to the new earth, but we're really talking about how do we do that?
Right. Well, one of the key things to learn or remember are the laws of creation. And that focus is, the second law. The first law, as I describe it in the book, which is a very simple set of four laws. The first one is like attracts like. So wherever we are in our frequency band, that's where we're creating from. Those are the opportunities that are coming forth for us. You could live next to somebody uh, in a house, or in the house next door, and they could live in an entirely different world from your world, simply by your focus and your frequency, because those are so important. Those are really your job, to accelerate your frequency to the degree you can, because that enables you to bring what you want into your life more speedily and easily. And it uplifts the entire world, because we are all connected. And our specific focus is what I call the second law. You know, we focus on what we don't want when we're listening to the media. And what's that? Worrying is like praying for what you don't want. And I know there's a lot of worrying that happens after you watch the media, because there's so much negativity, and it's overwhelming. It's it's really discouraging. And so what we need to do is to keep our momentum of looking at what we do want to do, keep our frequency high. Because the third law is the law of allowing. That's where our input, your input, everybody in the region's input is sort of taken and weighed, and the natural laws give us back whatever it is that we have, um, you know, in the great stew of life focused upon. So if we're focusing on negativity, that's our collective offering to the greater earth scenario. And what we want to be doing is offering positivity and optimism and hopefulness and generosity and kindness and all those wonderful attributes to the collective, so that we can uplift everyone, so everyone can have a good life, and live with food and water and shelter and all the basics that many people are not able to live with right now. And then the fourth law is harmony. So we sort of take our hands off the steering wheel with allowing, and then harmony comes in and presents us with whatever sort of the collective scenario was. And we're using these all the time, these laws. You know, if you make a cup of coffee in the morning, you're using these laws. And you know, as simple as that, or as grand as, you know, starting a new company or creating the original Loretta Brown show, those laws are all in action.
Thanks. It always makes me laugh when it's the original Red Brown Show. Is a joke about that between Benny and I. But anyway, yeah. I love those laws, and I really love what you just said. I've got so many ahas when we think about that. So, like attracts like attracts like, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we have a tendency to think about what we don't want instead of what we do want. So we're focused on that.
Right.
Number 3, allowing, right? Allowing. And number 4, harmony. I'm just giving that back because I'm the girl that takes notes. I want to read something from your book. I popped it up while you were talking. And here's her lovely book. It's a lovely book. Just go and buy it right now. Just do it. It's going to be one of the most important books you ever read. And I'm also going to tell you right up front that for some of you, this is going to stretch you. And for some of you, it will bring up resistance. And for some of you, you're going to jump up and down and blow party tutors. So we're all going to have a response to this book, right? But in this book, you're talking about somebody named Deborah, and she had a vision. And I just want to read this part in the book where you write, I so appreciate the message in Deborah's vision that we don't need to fight the dark forces on the earth to hasten their demise. They are simply going to phase out as we render their world obsolete by the creation of and participation with a higher frequency earth, one that we do want to live upon. And that to me is just a very core thing. A while back, I interviewed Irvin Laszlo, you know, fantastic Pulitzer Prize nominee. And we were talking about the new earth, and he had a vision of the new earth. He wrote a little book about it himself. And I said, how does this change come about, right? How does this change come about? And And he said, Loretta, that what happens is around the edges that things begin to build and grow. People start to have visions. People start their own little movements. You know, they write their books like you do, right? People bring this new thought out or this new way of being. And there comes a point where that is so strong that the center collapses, and then everything, all the structure is right there, and it just comes right in, and then we have the new world.
Wow. I love
Yeah.
that. That's implosion,
Mm-hmm.
which is a very powerful force. Yeah.
It's a very powerful force, and it's sort of like where we're at. So in order to talk about this old world, right, and the negative information, I'm just going to ask you, so what is Agenda 2030?
Agenda 2030 is something that's being put forth and is very far built out into our societies down to the local levels already. It's being organized by the World Economic Forum, the United Nations, the World Health Organization, hundreds of corporate partners, as well as stakeholders. And there is a plan to remove currency, so there's no cash, have no private ownership. One of their bylines was, "You will own nothing and you will be happy." And it has a rather comprehensive plan of moving humanity into smart cities, which are very concentrated areas where we will have only digital currency. We will be under surveillance cameras 24/7, essentially. And this is all possible because of the 5G and artificial intelligence that are being developed right now. 5G is the next level of sort of cell tower data moving capacity that has come online, and part of it is low atmosphere surveillance, or what are they called, satellites. There's like tens of thousands of satellites in the lower atmosphere beaming things down onto the earth, so there's no part of the earth that's not covered. And with surveillance cameras, facial recognition software, biometric information on us so that our walk can be identified with a dossier of who we are and our name and all that. We are put in a position of losing control of our lives, our spirits, our freedom, our self-authority, our capacity to do what we want and to dream big dreams. And there is an agenda of convincing humanity to do this by the greenwash agenda, is what some people call it. And I urge listeners who are new to this to look at some of the documentaries that I've listed in the book, because it's really hard to lay out how expansive this plan is and how terrifically horrifying it is, because we will lose all freedom and our children will live in an open air prison, which is crafted by, the surveillance cameras, the fact that we wouldn't be able to get into buildings without our identification. We wouldn't be able to spend money beyond 20 minutes from our house. These really sort of scary, horrifying, and futuristic things could be coming online as early as 2030. And, that's just the tiniest little bit about it. And I know for myself, I don't like talking about those things. They scare me. I don't like it. But what the book is about is just allowing people to realize that this is going on, because we cannot ignore it. Because if we do, it's like we are consenting to it. And that is something we do not want to have to look back on our life, 50 years from now, 30 years from now, 20 years from now, and say, oh my gosh, all of our freedoms are gone and my children have no choices now. And what have I done to participate in that? And so the book is a bit of a wake-up call in a sense. But it's really hopeful because it overrides our powerlessness, our victimhood, because it gives us the tools of creation, the tools of realizing who we are as consciousness, and the realization that we exist in this benevolent field of love. These are all uplifting opportunities that when we realize they're there and we focus upon them, we have the opportunity to utilize them more fully and create the world we do want, because that's really what the book is about, creating another world that makes the old one obsolete, the one of control and Agenda 2030.
Yeah, I so appreciate you sharing that, because I do know that it is something that many people are not aware of, and I really recommend people do some research to find out. And then also in all of the work that I do, and even coming out of your mouth, like we're so in agreement here. When we notice that there is a dis-ease, right? When we notice that there is something that is not the way that we want it to be, or as you say, there's an agenda or an intention out there, I think we need to become aware of it. We have to look at it long enough to become aware of it. And then the next thing is, if I'm going to, quote, heal myself of a disease, I cannot focus on the disease. I have to focus on wellness, right? Or that where I want to be. And once again, from your own words, dear Hope, we don't need to fight the dark forces on the earth to hasten their demise. We are simply going to they're simply going to phase out as we render their world obsolete by the creation of and participation with a higher frequency.
Mm-hmm.
And I suspect the higher frequency has something to do with love, but we're going to take a little station break. And when we come back, Hope's going to quantum jump you. Yep, she's going to do it. It's going to happen. So don't go away. We'll be right back. This is Loretta Brown. My guest today, Hope Ives Mauran. Is that right? Mauran? Mauran. Okay. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
All right. All clear.
Thank you for writing this book. The amount of, especially in your Rays of Hope back there, I just looked through there and went, wow, this
Alternative Talk 1150. We're on your radio at 1150 a.m. We're on your HD radio at 98.9 Channel 3.
So many ways to listen.
We're on the web at 1150kknw.com. Streaming live audio and video, as well as MP3 archives of many of our shows.
So many ways to listen.
And now, we're on your smartphone or tablet. Download our free app in the Apple App Store or Google Play and take Alternative Talk 1150 anywhere you go.
So many ways to listen.
Don't look behind you.
Energy is powerful. It's all around us, mysterious, full of potential. Directing positive healing energy to raise your vibrational rate through Reiki can change your life. Reiki master Loretta Brown has relieved stress, sadness, anger, and even helped clients lose weight, stop smoking, and end sleep disorders. Worldwide, people have sought out Reiki Oasis. If you want help with your dis-ease, visit ReikiOasis.com. Harness life's energy. Visit ReikiOasis.com today.
Colorectal cancer doesn't stop for COVID-19. Hello, I'm Dr. Cecilia Burrington. If you are age 45 or older, it's time to return to care and get tested. The government requires insurance companies to cover not only colonoscopy, but a range of tests, including virtual colonoscopy and other less invasive exams. Talk to your doctor about your options today. For more information on virtual colonoscopy, visit radiologyinfo.org.
Broaden your horizons. You'll be amazed at all the topics we cover on Alternative Talk 1150.
This came out a little later than I had planned. The universe.
Y'all ready to come back in?
Yeah. We're ready to come back in.
Stand by.
Her book, Love's New Earth, Awakening to the Collective True Nature as Love, with Rays of Hope and Reasons to Prevail. A reminder that this show is archived. You can download it for free anytime you want from KKNW 1150 AM archives for the original Loretta Brown Show. And we're also on iTunes, Spotify, Megaphone X, YouTube. I've left something out. Podcast One. Anyway, you get the idea. Please go find us all over the place. And there are hundreds of other shows from amazing guests. So, Love's New Earth. I want to talk about love, Hope. Talk about love, the frequency of love. What does love got to do with it?
Well, love arises from our oneness. We are not these bodies. Our bodies are animated by who we truly are, which is consciousness or awareness itself. And so everything we see around us is part of us. It's part of who we are. And naturally, when we are with part of ourselves, loving is natural. And love, as it's spoken up here, it's not a love that is just for one person or for one thing. This is love, capital L, unconditional love, love that the Creator has for the creation, what we have for our children in the same way the Creator has for us. So love is actually all around us as well. There's a field of love that exists around us. It's a field of healing, of communication, of connection, of correction, of protection. I share stories in the book along those lines. And so, love is far more than we have isolated it to just a cute little heart and just for me to you. It's far more than that. It's walking with reverence for the earth, interacting with anybody we meet, realizing that they are part of this consciousness that we are as well. And love is eternal, consciousness is eternal. There's so much to know about who we are that helps us move out of the pettiness and the attack and helps us to move into higher levels of forgiveness around things that happened. It's so easy to be triggered when we're driving if somebody cuts us off, when in fact, no doubt we've cut other people off. And we just need to realize that love is really our work right now, because what is happening, part of the control plan, part of the Agenda 2030 is to pit us against each other. And so we can work against that. We can work for Love's New Earth by being loving to the best we can.
I'm being with this idea of love, and in English, it's always been my complaint that we just have this one little word: I love you too, I love my dog, I love my mom, I love creme brulee. Yeah, I do actually. Anyway, I love the trees, right? And I don't know if you want to share one of your stories around love, when we actually become love, or when we embody love, or we really make this transition. Can you talk about what that's like? How does that change us?
Well, I'll tell one of the stories in the book is from my friend Ben. And he was in New York City at a time when there was animosity between two cultural groups. And a gang of young men cornered him late at night in a park in the East Village. And they all had a weapon in their hand. There were about 15 of them, and they were walking toward him sort of in a formation. And he had to progressively back up. And all of a sudden he was up against a wall. At that point, Ben, who has love in his heart, he's, still to this day a hippie from the 60s who just can't imagine why everybody doesn't love each other. He was the embodiment of love. And he said when his back hit the wall, "What are you doing?" And somebody in the back of the pack of young men said, "He's okay." And they parted, and he walked out freely. And it was because of who he was and how he was, just open and loving, that he was able to transform that situation. Because when we are in a loving place, we influence the area around ourselves. We influence what is possible to happen. I mean, you've probably experienced that. You walk into a room in a fearful state, you walk into a room open and loving and thinking of everyone as your brother and sister, and people respond to you in a very different manner. And love is the most powerful force on this earth.
I so yes to what she said. You can influence the area around you by what you emit, what you're feeling, yeah. Are you quantum jumping? Are you?
Yeah.
So,
the
so,
timeline shift.
so like attracts like.
Mm.
So one of the importances of us removing our energy and our attention from the old earth, we've alluded to it in this show, but I'm really bringing this forward, so that when we pull our energy out of the old and we really do this like Ben, right, where he exudes this love into this space around him, it changed the space. So love and fear, can they exist in the same space? What do you think, Hope?
Mm. One of the challenges of this global plan is that fear is being put forth as our baseline. And gosh, if we overcome one fear, we got another one coming down the pike. And it's really hard to stay connected to our love, to our inner source, our inner guide and infinity spark of love when we are in a fearful place. Fear is an overlay, which came when we started identifying with these bodies. Bodies are fallible, they are injurable, and so fear came in when we experienced pain. In truth, who we are is at another higher order of reality. Um, for example, near-death experiences, people don't often feel the trauma in their bodies when they are harmed in that kind of situation. They come out of their body and they're observing. And so love and fear really don't exist in the same frequency. And fear is essentially the marching song of the old earth. And I'm putting, my time, my energy, my exuberance, my enthusiasm toward love and the opportunity that comes from that. And there's so many opportunities now for people to create new businesses and organizations and clean up the earth and create new ways of educating, of healing, of governing, of being in community. There's so much open opportunity now for that, and love is the answer.
Right. Love is the answer.
Yeah.
So you have a technique of emotional transformation.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. Yeah. Years ago, I received this technique, which is a way of creating, and it uses our emotional energy, which is very powerful. We want to, for example, feel positive about, say, a difficult meeting we're having, or a relationship we have with a child or a partner or a colleague. What we can do is call up that emotion physically into our bodies and actually feel it physically. You make the effort to do that by touching on to something that helps you to feel that way. And then your focus, your very clear intent and focus, is to wrap that emotional energy around the situation that you wish to transform. And all it takes is a moment or two of doing that. And that's emotional transformation. And sometimes I use it, for example, if I have a terrible thought in my head, I think of like something terrible happening. Sometimes what I'll do is bring up, ease and relief, and jump farther into the future, so that I am beyond, in linear time, I'm beyond that possibility happening. And it couldn't happen because I have so clearly put a stake in the ground of joy, relief, happiness, love, cooperation, oneness, from my own emotion. And it's very calming, it's healing, and you can use it anywhere, and nobody is the wiser.
Yeah.
At any time. In a meeting, something's going on, you can do it in the meeting. Nobody knows you're doing it.
I love that. We talk all the time about the mastery of the self, like master the mind, master the emotions. And this, like you say, the greatest opportunity we have right now is bringing ourselves into that awareness that we have the ability to do these things. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You also said something I kind of want to touch on. When you're having a thought, because I talk to people all the time. Are those your thoughts? Are those your feelings?
Right.
Where are they coming from?
Yeah.
So touch on that for just a little bit.
Yeah. Right? Our thoughts are not our own. Our thoughts are, who knows where they come from. Obviously we can create thoughts when we, choose to create thoughts, and create a sort of a linear progression in working something out. But our thoughts right now, there are technologies that are infiltrating our minds and our thoughts. And there are thoughts being planted in our minds, or there are fields that we walk through where we pick up on these thoughts, which are negative and detrimental to our well-being, to others' well-being, that are violent, that are really nasty. And my solution in those situations is to not be attached to it either way, simply to say, no, not my thought. And I urge you to write that down. No, not my thought. And next time you have some negative thought, don't identify with it. Simply say, no, that's not my thought. You don't want to attach to it. You don't want to cling. You don't want to reject. You want to just be very neutral. No, that's not my thought. Yeah. And I find it works quite well.
Yeah, it does, by the way. And then what you're saying is then shift yourself, take yourself and direct your thoughts. It's a question. Yeah, like you said. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you don't even need to, it simply sort of clears the slate, and you don't need to carry it with you by forcing a good thought in. I think just be neutral and be on with the day. That's irrelevant. It has nothing to do with you.
That's beautifully said. That's beautifully said. I'm also very aware of what I call group dynamics. You have in the book, you have ceremony, the idea that the entire human family can focus on the same goal, right? Which I think your book is getting us going into love's new earth, right? based in that frequency.
Yep.
But I'll just want to make a little comment, because we all know this to be true. A lot of people, I'm out here in the woo-woo world for a long time, and a lot of people are like, oh, this stuff isn't real, Loretta, and this energy thing isn't real, and intuition is not a real thing. And I'm like, but the governments of the world actually utilize all of these techniques. They do remote viewing. They do some sort of a mass effort in a negative direction to try to control us. It's actually real. And so my advice is to follow what Hope says and just neutralize, make it neutral. And then if we all read Hope's book, we can kind of be going in the same direction to help create love's new earth. We can all contribute to that.
Yeah. One of the things that I think is important to realize is we don't have to know how we're going to get there. It can seem so far away, so lofty, so impossible. And yet, if all, billions of us are focusing on creating a new earth paradigm for the highest and best good of all concerned, general statement of our intention, and then taking action, fulfilling our role. If we get an inspired thought to help somebody, pay it forward, do something lovely, create something amazing and new, we'll do it. Another piece I like to mention is none of us feel ready for this. None of us will ever be completely ready to do whatever it is we've come to do. And it's through doing it that we become ready. And I've seen that in writing my book. It's the field of love pulls in everything you need at the right time to give you what you need to do something to a higher level, to a greater opportunity, to a loving world.
Yeah. The field of love pulls it in. Yeah. Become attractive. Very attractive. Yes. Thank you, new moon in Gemini. Thank you, love energy. Yeah. And it's not, I have to say this too. It's not all airy fairy. It's sort of effortless effort, but yes, it's there. Yeah. Living this way.
Right.
So you have this section of the book called Rays of Hope and Reasons to Prevail. Talk about that section of your book, please.
Yeah, I was guided to put that in. I never would have thought about it, but it's such a rich resource. This book is a reference book for the New Earth, for its organizations, people, ideas that are cleaning up the old world in this transition time or working to create the new world. And it's an inspirational read, because seeing what other people have done, they have not let the limitations of this old world and its density stop them from, for example, there's a young man who went scuba diving and decided he saw more baggies than fish and decided he was going to clean up the oceans. Well, he is, and he's got these huge machines doing it now. Things like that are so heartwarming and fun to read about. There's bow biology, which is, these people who are trained to measure the frequencies in your living spaces and help you, if you're sensitive, to transmute these things so that you can, be on a computer or live comfortably without effects, because so many people are becoming influenced by the electromagnetic radiation, the 5G, and all the things that we're living inside of right now. So there's a whole lot in the Rays of Hope that are encouraging and exciting. There's also documentaries and other references that I've shared in the book that are a helpful resource for getting up to speed on the global agenda. And then you can, make a clear choice for yourself and for your future, what kind of future you want to be a part of.
Yeah. Yeah, I like how you said that, resources, and then you can make your own choice. That's exactly right. Yeah. Can you talk a bit about the healing bed. And
yeah, well, the healing bed is something, it was a download I received back in 2003. I had come back from a very high frequency 2 weeks in Hawaii with a kahuna. And I was lying on the
that'll
lawn.
do it. Yeah. That'll do it.
Yeah, I was lying on the lawn in the summertime, and boom, I just had this complete idea of digging a bed 18 inches into the ground, oriented north-south, and lying in it 2 to 3 hours a day. And, my poor children, I did it. Yeah, my mom, she's a little odd. But anyway, lying in this bed was so healing. And what I discovered, and I ended up making them for other people. And, there were probably 10 or 12 in this world at one point. And I've shared, on my website shares how to make them. But I found that my body purified in an amazing way. I got so I didn't want to eat things that were bad for me. It was very healing and relaxing. And what you don't realize is that when you're lying underground, you are so much more protected. You're embraced by the mother, whereas you're sort of vulnerable and exposed when you're lying on the ground on top of it. It's a whole different level. And what I would find is lying down in there, after about 6 minutes, my body would just do one of those huge breaths, those involuntary next level relaxation breaths. So that's the healing bed, and you can see pictures and find out more on my website, which is freedomsart.com.
I love that. You still have a healing bed out there in your backyard?
Well, I moved out I lived in a place that was all clay. And so I couldn't have one there because it would have been a swimming pool.
Yeah.
And now I'm in Rockville, in Vermont, on the side of a mountain. And it's there. I'm gonna make one, but it hasn't happened yet.
I get you. I totally get you. I love that. I love that information. Wow. We're running out of time, but I want you to share with us. You have in the book a beautiful hand position from that is depicted in art such as Salvator Mundi, Da Vinci. Yeah, that dissipates energy in some fashion. Tell us about that real quick.
Yeah, I'll lift that up. I was guided to use this hand position, just sort of spontaneously. And I at times when there was discord, or there was an accident, or there was a history of trauma in the ground. And so I don't know if you try this. I mean, you're on the radio, you can't see this.
Well, the people on YouTube can, and I'll direct people to that. And they can also buy your book. And
that's right, buy the book and see the hand position.
Loves New Earth. Yeah, the hand position is in there. I'll find the page.
Salvator Mundi, the painting.
Yeah, page 10.
Which I only discovered after the fact. But anyway, this hand position is very powerful. And if you close your eyes and do it, you can, sort of sense they'll start buzzing a little bit. Evidently, it affects the area and the structure of the field around us for about 300 feet. Yeah. And so, wow, it's just one more thing to put in your toolbox.
Yeah. Yeah. I take people to sacred locations, and I always say, whatever they're doing, copy it. Right. and see what happens, because I do believe in all of that. So we're down to the last little bits. Hope, it's been so great having you on the show. So what do you have coming up? Once again, where can people find you, and the final word to the audience?
Well, I can be found at freedomsart.com, and the book can be bought online at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Balboa Press bookstore. It's now out in ebook as well.
Yeah.
And one of the, I have a few interviews coming up. You can see those recorded ones on my website as well. And if there are new ones, I will post them in advance if I have that kind of information. And the last words would be that we all have a role to play in this transition. We have all come here at this time for this opportunity to fulfill our roles, and it requires us to wake up and look around and make that decision to move out into the world in a way that may be uncomfortable, but is loving and unifying. And this is the time. We are no longer in the dress rehearsal. We are no longer in the self-improvement program. We are standing in our power as love, as consciousness, using the laws of creation, focused on the field of love that's all around us, and working and stepping and speaking to the creation of this new earth.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Hope Ives Mauran, Love's New Earth. Thank you so much for being on my show. Everybody, please enjoy love, love, love. It's all about love. New moon in love. 66 portal. Benny Mathers, you're the best. And to the zebras, I love you. Yeah.
Bye.